Question: when is your mask not your mask? Answer: when it's Philips. But let's course your name happens to be Philip. Well, sorry for that joke, so to make up for it, I'm going to be reviewing the two most popular Philips masks that money can still buy: the DreamWear Full and the DreamWear Nasal. DreamWear masks have been around for about 10 years now, and we've not reviewed them individually before, but hey, better late than never. So, full review coming up. Well, hey there, it's RespShop Ruben again with another honest CPAP review. We sell everything CPAP over at RespShop.com and on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We dish out free CPAP info and medical knowledge as part of our service to the CPAP community. So say hi to us wherever you like to hang out online. Thanks. Now, I mentioned I'll be reviewing two of the DreamWear masks, but seasoned CPAPers will know that there are actually three DreamWear masks. The one I'm going to be leaving out today is the DreamWear Pillow Mask. Pillow masks are supposed to be better at sealing with a slight trade-off in comfort, but most users find the pillows are not any better at sealing and perhaps worse than the nasal Cradle version with the DreamWear series. And there are much better pillow mask options from ResMed and Fisher & Paykel. So I'm not going to include the pillows version in this review. But what about other still popular masks in the DreamWear range? Well, when Philips came out with the Cradle version 10 years ago, the frame had a revolutionary top-of-head connection for the tube. This new and bright idea was ideal for side sleepers and those that toss and turn, because it meant the tube didn't get tangled around your body in the night. The connection rotates freely as you move, keeping the tube in place, and the air is delivered to the mask through the tubes in the hollow silicone frames. Genius! Now, this top-of-head connection style is no longer particularly special. ResMed has several options like that, but it's still a big plus for side sleepers out there or for those that toss and turn. There are a few potential downsides though. One is that the air rushing through the tubes along the side of the face can make it noisier for some people. Now, this really is a case of a problem for some, but not for others, so you'll have to try it for yourself to see if it's a problem for you. Another potential issue is that some find the silicone tubes can irritate their skin. The DreamWear masks do come with a fabric wrap that can be attached though, so if you want the comfort of fabric against your skin and don't need the grippiness of silicone to keep the mask in place, then you could try those. They also might help dampen the sound a little bit too, if you're lucky. Now, a third thing to bear in mind is that top-of-head connection frames can be a little bit trickier to clean, and having clean tubing is very important. And the silicone tubes in the frame are those that are most close to your airways, so it's really important to keep them clean to keep those nasties out of your airway. We've done videos on how to clean your CPAP masks, which I'll link in the description below. But with the potential drawbacks said, most people that side sleep or move around think that top-of-head connections are a game changer for a better night of sleep. On the DreamWear masks specifically, the connection point at the top of the tube is easily removed at either the tube or the connector by pulling in the right direction. If you want to remove the tube, pull it downward a little, and if you want to remove the connector, pull it straight out. The connector can click back in with a firm push, and once the tube connector has been removed, you can peel out the elbow with an angled pull and twist move. None of this is particularly difficult once you know how, but newer versions of this style of mask now have quick release mechanisms, sometimes involving simple click in, click out buttons that make removing the tube a little easier than it is on the DreamWears. Every second counts when going to the bathroom at night. Okay, so the silicone frame and tube connection is the same for both DreamWear masks, but the straps are different. On the nasal Cradle, there are two rigid side arms that curve around the ears and down to the base of the head, where an adjustable piece of fabric holds the mask in place. And most people find this style to be very comfortable and excellent at keeping the mask stable, and many think that it is even better than ResMed style equivalents that simply go around the back of the head in a straight line. You may have seen some users Frankenstein their CPAP masks online by using DreamWear straps with a ResMed cushion. A lot of people feel that this gives you the best of both, and I agree that the straps for the DreamWear are still as comfortable as they were 10 years ago. The DreamWear full face mask has 2 points of connection. One goes straight around the back from the same anchor point above the ear as the nasal Cradle mask. The other goes under the ears and attaches to the lower part of the mask by magnets. The two straps are adjustable using Velcro, and the fit is sturdy and comfortable. And while we're on the subject of the magnets, the DreamWear magnets are stronger than ResMed equivalent ones, and they include a rigid protrusion that makes it very unlikely that the magnets will slip off from sideways pressure. This means that they're less likely to get dislodged when you sleep, but it also has meant that Philips had to have a magnet recall a while ago as the stronger field could interfere with some sensitive brands of pacemakers. But as long as that isn't you, the magnets are great and very sturdy. And if that is you, then you can purchase non-magnetic clips from RespShop.com and replace the magnetic connection points. If you're having trouble with airflow using the DreamWear range, it may be because you haven't put the headgear on correctly. The tube connection point should be above your ears or further forward and not pulled back. If the top connection is pulled back, the tubing that comes down from it tends to crease and fold, which will restrict the airflow. It can seem odd to have the connection forward, but that's where it's meant to be. Okay, let's now move on to the masks and the cushions. The nasal cradle sits under the nose and has a single hole under your nostrils which you can breathe through. Because it's a nasal mask, your mouth is not covered with this style, and so you will not be able to breathe through your mouth and get therapy benefits. But if you breathe through your nose, a nasal mask will be lighter and less bulky and therefore more comfortable. Most find the Cradle to be comfortable and good for sealing, but Cradle masks are generally better if your pressure therapy settings are on the lower side, say at 10 cm H2O or below. And Cradles can be sensitive to nose shapes too, so you'll need to check that it fits snugly for you. One not so great thing about the Cradle cushion is the air diffusion. The DreamWear nasal mask expels air through two diffusion ports. One is at the top head port where the connector is, the other is in the Cradle itself. Now the level of diffusion softening in mask cushions varies, but the DreamWear nasal really is on the overly simple side, to put it nicely. It's a single hole in the silicone at the front. On the plus side, this means that the cushion has no hard plastic in it at all, but the downside, this means that the air comes straight out with no softening or even any diffusion. Now, this is not great for bed partners, as the airflow can bounce off sheets and pillows and back at you sometimes as well. Newer masks like the ResMed N30i use air diffusion mesh that softens and disperses the expelled air, making it much less windy than the DreamWear nasal. So the diffusion is, at best, meh. The DreamWear Full has a cushion that sits under your nose and goes under your mouth. These masks are sometimes called hybrid masks, as they don't go over the bridge of your nose at all, like some full-face masks like ResMed's F20. The advantage of hybrid masks is that they allow you to breathe through your mouth without the extra bulk and weight of a full face mask, and they won't rub or irritate the bridge of your nose like some find that the full face masks do. But it is, of course, more bulky than the nasal option, so don't use it unless you need to breathe through your mouth. Now, in the cushion that goes under your nose, there is a recess for the tip of your nose to go. Many find this is an extremely snug fit and provides a great seal, but some people with a longer, more pointed nose, like me, find that the tip of their nose rubs against the end of the silicone recess and so can't wear it comfortably. If this is you as well, then be aware of that when selecting your mask. And although the DreamWear Full has slightly improved diffusion in the mask compared to the Cradle, it is only the older drilled holes in plastic style of diffusion that is still used by some masks today, especially from brands like Fisher & Paykel. The number of holes means that the air does get dispersed a bit, but the air that comes out from them still leaves in a bit of a jet, so there isn't much softening happening of the kind that you get through fabric or from mesh diffusion systems. All in all, the DreamWear masks are still decent options even 10 years later. At the time of their release, the tech was either groundbreaking like the top of head connections, or standard fare like the diffusion holes. But things have moved on a bit since then, and what was once groundbreaking is now standard, and what was once standard is now older tech. The DreamWear range is still reasonable, which is quite an achievement after 10 years, but it isn't a market leader anymore. If you can get one at a good price, it might well be worth it, but at the same time, there might be newer masks that are better suited to your needs. And I do think that the straps on the mask and how it can fit your head shape is still one of the best around. So if you've struggled with that in the past, you could give one of these a try. Remember, if you're looking to buy any mask you buy at RespShop.com, it comes with a 60-day guarantee, where you can get a full refund for unused masks or full store credit for used ones. This helps take the risk from finding the right mask for you. After all, the important thing is to find a mask that lets you sleep tight. Till next time, friends.